Hi, this is Mike Green. We're going to take a look at how we put together one of the demos on the website called Uplifting Rock. We're going to start off with this instrumental. It sounds a little something like this. You get the idea. It's an uplifting kind of track. The chords, in case you're interested, are D, then D over F sharp, and then G for 2 bars, and then it just loops that. Anyway, this would be even more inspirational if we had a vocal on it. Plus, I can charge more money because I can tell the client I brought in singers. So, this is a job for Realivox. So let's go to this empty channel here. I'm going to call up Contact. And we'll go to the Realivox instruments, and we'll try Patty. Notice that I have a choice between either bringing up all the articulations or this other one that's just ooh, ah, and oh. Of course, you can save your own presets, but these are the ones that come with Realivox when you buy it. I'm just going to use ooh, ah, and oh because I think that ah is what I'm going to be using for this. So we'll call that up. And right now you can see that the articulation selected is ooh. I'm going to want to select ah instead, so I'll just go over here to this C key switch, or actually that's the wrong key switch. The D key switch is the one that brings up ah. As you can see, it says here D3. It tells you which articulations you have there. Anyway, I bring up ah with the D3, and I'm going to want to have legato on this. Right now it's off. Bear in mind that you can also turn the legato on and off with this B flat key switch. Off, on, off, on. You get the idea. So let's try this melody that I had in mind. Yeah, I think that might work. So let's try that with the track. You know what? It could use a little bit more release. That's one thing. Don't be afraid to turn up the release. So now it kind of dies off. That may sound a little bit unnatural to let it, release that long, but for a piece like this, it actually works. And bear in mind that the release only releases the end note of a phrase. If I play, it's only the very ending note that the release actually applies to. And I think I'll add some delay and maybe add a little bit more reverb. That sounds good. Let's try it again. You can tell how the longer release and the delay and the extra reverb kind of just make it feel a little bit bigger to go along with this kind of inspirational rock sort of thing. I think, though, that I would prefer to hear oh instead of ah. Actually, I do like that better. Let me try it with the track. Yeah, I do like that better. Now, I want to add a double to this. So I'm going to add another track of Patty. And I'll set her on O. I could use a key switch for that, but I just did it that way. I could also use a key switch to turn the legato on, but I didn't. And I'm going to match these release and reverb times. This one's higher. It doesn't really matter. More reverb. And I'll turn on the delay. I could add more delay if I want, but I think that sounds pretty good around there. The exact amounts don't really matter. So now I'll hear this. Oh, I don't hear 2 singers. And it's because of the mistake that I always make, which is forgetting to put the double track onto the same MIDI channel. So now they're both on MIDI channel 1, so I can hear them both at the same time. Well, that doesn't sound like 2 singers either. And the reason for that is they're both singing the same samples. This one's set to normal. This one's set to normal. Remember that I want to change the voices to one of these other alternates. So I'm going to change it to bright. It sounds a little bit brighter than the other one, uses different samples. Yes, that's what I want. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit on this. Generally, you don't want to double the same volume. Good. So now let's try it with the track. You know, I think that sounds pretty good. I think it would sound better if I mixed Patty with a different singer, though. I'm going to mute this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it out completely. And I'm going to add, along with Patty, a track of Tony doubling her instead. So I'll put Tony onto channel 1. This time I remembered to do that. I'll lengthen the release. That looks pretty good there. Add some more reverb so it's the same. Add some delay. This time, since it's a different singer, normally I would lower the volume if this was a double, but since it's a different singer, I'm going to go ahead and leave the volume the same for each one, and we'll see what we've got. Oh, and I almost forgot. I want to change this to O so they're both singing O. Yes. Okay, let's try that with the track. Yep, I think that's going to do the trick. I also could, if I want, kind of pan one a little bit left, one a little bit right. I tend not to go too far in the extremes of when I pan because I'm one of those guys who had the car where only one side of the stereo worked. So hardcore panning just, always scares me a little bit. Okay, so I took the liberty of recording that last pass. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to copy it over to here. So it's going to play twice, except on this second time through. I'm not going to want these last two notes. I'll get into why a little bit later. And now our next step is going to be that I want to put a harmony on the second time through. So here's what that's going to sound like without the harmony. So for the harmony, I'm just going to copy the settings from this track onto a new track. And we'll call this one Harmony. And that gives us a track that looks just like the other one that we had. Just for fun, I'm going to switch the panning of this one. I don't know why. Sometimes I maybe overthink these things, but that's what I'm going to do. So we've got, if we played the melody, but my harmony is going to be, it's basically just a parallel harmony underneath the first one. So we'll have this. Cool, right? Alrighty. Right now I've got my lead track. Well, you can't really see it here, but I'm going to turn down the harmony so it's not quite as loud. So we'll have this. Cool, right? Alrighty, I'm going to do one more thing, and that's at the very end of this track. I'm going to add a little button at the end, little vocal button. I'm going to call it the same thing, just the tonies this time. And I'm going to have her sing ooh. She's already set for legato. So I'll just add this to the ending of the piece. We'll have this. Pretty cool, huh? Except I should have added more release and a little bit more delay, add some more reverb. So now that ending would be. But here's another thing that I'm going to do just to get fancy. Here we've got this track here. I'm going to zoom in on that. Look at a closer look. Different sequencers have different ways that they handle this, but in Logic there's something called hyperdraw. And in hyperdraw, or whatever your sequencer is, you can draw in volume curve. I want this actually to fade out. So right now it just stays a constant volume. I wouldn't really want a singer to keep holding it so strong through the whole thing. So I'm going to make it so it kind of fades down a little bit as she sings it. So we'll listen to this. Mucho better. In fact, I think we could apply that same thinking to the verses as well. You can hear how that one long note there could definitely use a little fade out. So let's do it. So I'm going to go into Hyperdraw again. Okay, so here's the notes. I know that at the beginning of that I want it to be pretty strong, but then we'll fade it down a little bit right around there. Let's hear that sound. A little too much fading. Yep. So I'm just going to kind of do the same thing here. Not too extreme. And we'll apply a hyperdraw to this track as well. Again, your sequencer is going to call it whatever it calls it. Here's the very last note. There's that one. There. I'll zoom back out. With those little volume curves, let's check out what the whole song sounds like now. I think it sounds pretty good. And most important of all, because there's vocals now, I get to charge the client a little extra. I hope you found this video helpful. We're adding more videos to our YouTube channel as we can put them together, so stay tuned. And be sure to visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/Realitone, and of course our website at www.realitone.com. Thank you for watching.